Hello, I'm Marius.
And I'm Raluca.
Welcome to Guldău.
Eu mă ocup de partea copiii.
I am in charge with the children's ministry.
Aceasta este camera unde copiii vin.
This is the room where children come.
Hai să facem lecții împreună.
We used to do homework together
De la școală și fizice.
from school and also Bible lessons.
Facem jocuri,
We do games,
întrebări despre viață,
questions about life,
teme foarte libere și conversații frumoase.
beautiful conversations.
Și acum o să ne întâlnim separat în casele separate ca să facem lucruri.
Now we will meet separately with people in their homes to do some cell groups.
E un început mic,
It's a small beginning,
dar o să ajungem la o biserică.
but we will get to have a church.
This morning, I get to introduce to you a guy that we talk a lot about around here and that has given his life for the cause of reaching people, especially people that have never heard about the gospel and have gone to just this part of Romania where just such a low percentage of Christians, and God stirring his heart to be able to go there and to preach the gospel. And man, when I'm watching that video, I get chills because of being there in June. I realize the full impact that this couple has made by surrendering their lives to Jesus and to the cause of missions. And I'm just so honored to be able to have Brad and Nora Hayes here this morning to be able to share with you about all that has gone on in the ministry. And you guys, this is incredible what God is doing in Romania, and to be able to see the impact and lives changed and young kids raised up to be mighty men and mighty women of God and leaders in Romania to bring the gospel to a very unreached part of the world. It's powerful. You know, there's a quote in Brad's book, and his book is out on the floor, and you guys can purchase that. But one of the quotes, it goes something like this. It's an Indian missionary who said, "I will go and go to the dark shafts or the dark mines of India, but somebody has to hold the ropes." And when I read that quote, I was just so struck by that. I said, that's what our job as CrossPointe. We are holding the ropes so that Brad and Nora and this team can go deeper into the mine shafts that are just, they're gold mine shafts of people that need to know about Jesus. And so I'm honored as a church to be able to have Brad and Nora here and to be able to have him share his heart here this morning. So would you guys just give a warm welcome for Brad Hayes.
Hi, thanks. Cullen, do you need me to move down here? Yeah? So I really don't like stages or microphones. That's why they have to tape this thing to my ear. But I've been forbidden to move out of a 2-foot range away from here, this spot. So I always enjoy coming here. You can keep that. That's my gift. So, and did that clock start for me? Yes. At this time, and I have a lot of time for me to speak, because almost every message I give is through translation, and so I always have to calculate that, half in English, half in Romanian, half in other languages too, because I travel up to other countries. I was in Germany a couple weeks ago. That was really cool, speaking. But today, what I want to do is, first of all, thank you for holding the rope, like Pastor said here. And Pastor Kevin and I have become very good friends. I don't know if you know that, but I have such a strong respect and love for you. And we talk often on the phone. He's actually one of the pastors that I talk more with than anybody. And we have a very good connection, texting, phone call, email, and it really works well for me. He's a great communicator. I'm very thankful for the leadership here. I'm very thankful for the team that came to Romania a couple months back, and it was really, really cool, very powerful. It was a good thing. I want to talk today in such a way that helps you understand not just what we do, but more about why, or the heart of what we do in Romania. And so, unfortunately, I bought a brand new advancer the other day that didn't work for me last night. I don't know why. But so I'm going to have to use that word that every speaker dreads, next. That just kills me to say that, because I like to have that power thing, you know. But I did bring this. This is, and it even works on the screen. So, which is rare. But you see that? Isn't that a nice looking PowerPoint? But I love PowerPoints. I probably have more PowerPoints on my laptop than the sum total of all the PowerPoints of all of you. I love PowerPoints. I love lists. I love folders. But I don't think I'm supposed to focus so much on that stuff, okay? And so the people who are trying to follow me today, you know, with translation and whatnot, it's really going to be tough. I don't know, whoever that is, because even I don't know what I'm going to say. It's really true. Because I felt strongly to not prepare so much in advance. Even this morning, as I was putting a few slides together, I just felt blocked by the Lord himself. And I think the Lord was trying to be very nice to me and just say, Brad, just relax. Everything is going to be okay. Don't plan it. It's really nice. But Vision, Progress, and its Secrets. Why did I choose that title? Well, first of all, everybody loves secrets, right? Gordon laughs at all my jokes, so don't mind. There's going to be more coming. But, you know, Vision, Progress, and its Secrets. Vision. All of us need a vision for our life. Vision is, you know, what do we see is going to happen in our life? But that has to be defined by what the Lord wants for our life. This is one of the secrets. So simple. Can we discover really why we exist? Can we discover why we're here? Can we say yes to the thing that the Lord has for us? And so vision is, I always say, you know, the Lord's preferred future for our life and what he wants to do in our life and through our life. Vision, that preferred future, which isn't automatic, okay? The Lord has a vision. He has a reason why he created all of us, and it's not automatic. It doesn't happen on accident. We must say yes. We're not robots. He invites us to discover what he has for us. He invites us into the relationship that he wants us to have with him. And it's beautiful, it's wonderful, and there's no reason to be afraid of it, though often we are. So vision, progress, and of course, once we begin to see what the Lord has for us, we need to take steps and to step out by, who can tell me what I'm about to say? Step out by faith. Right? Without faith, it is impossible to please God, because all those that come to God must believe that he is God, and he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. So we can't even find him without searching for him. We can't discover the things that he has for us without looking for those things and really wanting those things. And so once we, you know, what's one of the secrets of stepping into that life that the Lord's had for us? We need to want it. And we're going to understand that there's things in this life that we might value a lot, we think are really important, but there's going to have to be a change. There's going to have to be an exchange of values, priorities, and there's going to be a lifestyle that maybe we really prefer, you know? And that's the decision that Nora and I had to make back in 2000, actually, when we decided to move to Romania as missionaries. It's hard to believe that we've been there now for 16 years, so we moved a year later in 2001. And I'm just so glad I said yes. But we looked at our life, we looked what we had, and we had a really good life, a wonderful life here in the States. But we were willing to say yes and to step out in the water and be willing to sink. And we have, I mean, I was thinking about what you said with holding the rope. Kevin said about the rope, and sometimes that rope goes around your neck too, you know? I've had that happen a few times. But the Lord's always there for us. The Lord is always there for us. And so there are secrets, there's things that I've learned that I can impart, that I can share about life and ministry. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. Pastor Kevin asked me, he said that he had noticed something in the atmosphere of our team and in my life and the way I interact with our team, or very specifically the people on our team who would be closer to us, like my spiritual sons and daughters, who are many in many countries. And so one of the secrets that I would impart about life and ministry is how to be successful is in the contrast between being and doing. So this is what you said to me. I even checked the email yesterday just to make sure that I got it right. And there's a world of difference. There's a night and day difference about in our lives about being preoccupied with the doing of things and who we are, the being in our life. Who are we? Who are we to be? How are we to be? What do people experience in our lives when they bump up against us? And we choose that too, how we are. So I want to kind of impart some of that about my life and how I think today in the time that I have, and understand that it's not so easy, because some of what I've learned, it's just my personal experience, or it's even, let's say, my instinct, but you can't teach instinct. So it's really hard to teach this, but there would be some things that we can. So I need to go ahead to the next frame. I want to talk about, so this is one of the things, this is one of my values. What's really important to Brad Hayes? I want to say to you that beginning of the year, every year actually, the Lord shows me things that he would say, he wants me to understand is very important for my life, for our team, for our ministry, just before the beginning of every year. Okay, and he does it in different ways, and it's different every year. And so you can't get into cookie cutter mentality mode and think it's going to be the same. But one of the things that happened in January was I came into January with this idea in my mind about every member a missionary. What's a secret of ministry and success in ministry? As a leader, first of all, this is half of it. As a leader, I have to bring that mentality, every member a missionary. No, I'm not content to get people to church. I'm not content to have you sit in the soft chairs. These are nice chairs, by the way. We have a shipping container going in December if you guys want to get rid of these. I'm not, as a church leader, what am I supposed to be doing? And this is something that the Lord helped me to understand. Brad, it's so simple. Brad, every member in your churches needs to have this mentality. And I need to bring that mentality to them and teach it and cultivate it. Now, so every member a missionary, as a leader, my goal is to bring that mentality to every Christian. If you call yourself a Christian, your understanding about your life is that your life is not your own. But you were bought with a price, and you are to glorify the Lord God in your body and your spirit, which both belong to the Lord. Of course, in your body, that's self-evident. What in the world? What's the difference between your body and your spirit? Well, that's a pretty hard one to grasp. But I would just say it's the way you are. It's everything within you. It's your values. It's your mindset. It's how you see why you exist. It's your humility level. It's your commitment to unity, like you were praying. It's just so many different things that are part of the whole fabric of how we need to think and how we need to act and how we need to interact with people. And so, and we belong to the Lord. And so, but we have to have a missionary mentality. Why am I'm here to be sent. I'm here to be sent to my neighbor. I'm here to be, I'm here to bring the Great Commission. I'm here to bring the gospel of Jesus Christ to every person in this world. Now, that's like impossible, right? But I always say in Romania, in our county, we have 350,000 people. We have 2,000 people that I know of who are Christians in our county, which leaves a deficit of 348,000 people who, if they were to die right now, would probably be, unfortunately, judged at the judgment seat of Christ, having rejected the mercy of God, and be separated from the Lord forever. So why do I live? Simple. To bring the gospel to 348,000 people in my county. Well, I can't do that alone. And so I have to cultivate this mindset of missions mentality. Now, I was in Oslo, Norway. This is one of the highlights of my life that I'm about to share with you. It's not a joke coming. Not time. Serious moment. Holy moment. Very sobering, very serious. And I gave a message called Every Member a Missionary. It's 5 parts. I have one message that's 5 parts, but then I have 5 messages, also 5 full parts. And that was the first time I gave it. And I love this church. I think I told you about it before, but it's a Filipino church in Oslo, Norway. Okay? And, English is the main language. They're speaking Filipino language too. But so it's 95% women in the church. So not only is it Filipinos in Norway, but it's 95% women. And you've not lived until you've been in this environment. I mean, they're like waves going back and forth, and they're praising the Lord, and they're kind of dancing like they're doing in that video. And they just have so much life, and there's so much enthusiasm. And so I leave that worship time, and I come up to the stage, and I give this message. And I was probably tired like I usually am. And I went back down, went to my backpack, and I put my message in my backpack. And so my back was to the front, kind of like this. And, all of a sudden, the pastor gets up, and he's talking. I think it was in Filipino language, actually. And I turn around, and the whole front of the auditorium was filled with Filipinos. And I thought, wow, what's wrong with this picture? Is there that many Filipinos in this church that needed to receive Jesus as Lord? And I thought, well, that's possible because there are a lot of new people in the church, and it's a constant flow of new people because of what they're doing there. And so I thought, like every good pastor would do, I got to pray for people. And so I walked around to the front. I had to walk all the way around the end. And I came around in the front, and there are these people here. It was very, very quiet. They were very quiet. They had their heads down. And when I went to pray, kind of to put my hand on one of the persons, I just felt very strongly the presence of the Spirit of God. And I thought, something's wrong in my thinking here. What is this? And so then I went around again to somebody who had listened to the announcement, whatever it was. And I said, what's going on here? And she says, I love the accent. Oh, pasta. Pasta bread. Pastor John asked anybody to come forward who wanted to give their life as an international missionary. And there was about 150 people that came forward. And I thought, oh my gosh, I love my life. Thank you, Lord. This as a missionary. I mean, whoever, I didn't read anything like that in a book ever. And I'm thinking, this is the greatest thing. I love it. But that kind of set the tone for the year for our ministry. We knew from the beginning of the year that we needed to bring this thinking as leaders into the churches, into the members. And the members that we have in our churches, go ahead and put on the next slide, whoever that is who's advancing it. By the way, my book there on the left, it's translated in Romanian now. It's actually more people are interested in Romanian, and now also in Norwegian language. It'll probably be printed in January. But about 100 of these Filipinos, I said that I'd be giving them out at the back of the church, and 100 lined up to get my personal signature. I mean, my hand was like this. What in the world did I get myself into? But it was a highlight of my life. Anyhow, next. One of the highlights of my life. This is our ministry map. The beginning of the year, we declared we want to start 5 new churches. So Guldo, we just saw a little bit of the video. That video that you watched just a little bit is part of a larger video that shows all the new locations. And so this is our county. That's where the 348,000 live who don't know the Lord, probably. And all those red dots, anything with red, are locations where we work. They're churches or ministries that have started, some of which you've never heard about, because the people in our team, the people in our churches are just reaching out with the missionary mindset, is that we have to reach these people. For example, right here, that little red dot, the second red dot there in Kirnoj. It's a couple who kind of grew up in our ministry and they've matured, and they're reaching out from the Kirnoj church here with the yellow dot. The yellow dot means a community center idea. So from that yellow dot surrounded by red, they're reaching out into this other location. And so we never talk about it, but they have 40 kids weekly in their new ministry, and about maybe 20 adults, and really it's another church plant, but we're not talking about it yet because we don't want to confuse people. So we're focusing more on talking about these dots: Guldo, Stefan Voda, Doi Moldovan, Kurkan, and Luika. Luika is probably the fastest growing one of all that, but this is why I live. I love my life, and I have such a good team. Next. So that's a 2016 OH team, and we just about a week ago we did this year's photo. Next, 2017 OH team. And so what we did is we brought the 5 church plant teams into the photo. We have other people on our team now, so that's volunteers, part-time paid, full-time paid. And our team is growing, and we had 15 people on our team who didn't get in the picture. So we're going to Photoshop their heads on the back row and that little corner on the right there. We're going to get a row of heads in that spot right there. Wouldn't that be cool? Like I said, I love my life. Yes? Well, good question. It was just Nora and I and our family. I mean, this is really a testament. What the Lord's doing is a testimony to our children going with us and wanting to go. And Nora, Nora, and especially Nora, I point to Nora. I had like 5% part in all this, but she had 95%. Investing in the kids about missions and teaching them about that it's an honor to give your life to go to the ends of the world. And so when the Lord called us in 2000, then they were in. They wanted that, and so started with our children, and then if I had the lineup of teams, over the years, it started with just a few people, and we had a lot of lessons we had to learn from those early teams. But it's grown into what we have now, and we have one. Some of you were in the Vision Night meeting last night, and you heard from the Romanians, and we're just so rich. With one person after another, very dedicated to the Lord, and who have that missions mindset, and it's catching. So it's catching on, and the generals who are there, like Arel, right here, literally he's, our right hand man, our son-in-law Arel, and Niku back there. He's making faces in the back row or something. And, we have people like that who they're so dedicated to the Lord. They're generals in the kingdom of God. So that's our new team photo. Isn't it beautiful? Next, 5 new church plants. And the key to this is we're developing a 3-year, I accidentally cut out the 3 in there, a 3-year reproducible church plant model. So the point is to prepare, the 5 teams that are going, and I wanted you to hear that, especially the people who were in the meeting last night, I never got to it. But the key to planting churches is in the sending of the people and preparing of the people, but not Western style. Okay, so Western style meaning I think we get a little bit overdosed with teaching, and that's the doing and the knowing. You have to know this and this and this and this. But we need to focus more on the being, who you are, how you are, what your thinking should be, what your values are, and investing in them as they go. So the first year with all the teams, we have 5 teams, And they all look different. And I mean, you'd never pick them to plant churches, like that guy's planting a church. No. Yes, because they want to do it and the Lord's called them to do it. And so we're investing in them and teaching them what we believe to be are the essential values that need to be in the church 3 to 5 years from now. Okay, so how do I want that church to be in those locations 3 to 5 years from now? It's going to be in the persons in the church plant team, because we can only reproduce who we are, right? And so we're looking more at that. First year is about investing in the team. The second year is more in the church development. So we're not so preoccupied with meetings and locations. It's more about how that team is, how they go. That's what Jesus' problem was with the disciples. So, and then in the third year would be working towards having local leaders even in that location. And then even in the third year of every church plant, we'd be bringing them from the beginning. We're planting the thought in their mind that they are to plant more churches as new Christians. Every Christian. This is part of the problem. This is not in a lot of times it's not in our mentality, it's not in our thinking regarding what Christianity is, what a church member is. So we're trying to lose the idea of church member. We're replacing it with the word missionary, disciple maker, and church planter. And so we have people in our church plant teams now who are just really good 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and we have a 16-year-old who's really, I believe, is going to be a key guy in the future in our area next. Every member of missionary. So what's the secret? It's in the mentality. It starts with the mentality. Jesus himself can't change you if you don't want to. I mean, he can do all things except that, because he won't force himself on us. We have to choose. We have to submit to, and we don't like that word, but we need to, how about yield? Is that more friendly? More user-friendly? We need to yield to his thinking and what he wants, and knowing that that's the best thing for us. I mean, if I would have said no to the Lord, and that went to Romania, I'd be the poorest guy on this earth, because our riches, our inheritance beyond our family is that picture and beyond what the Lord's given to us, I love the verses, Mark 10, 29 and 30. Can I pull them out of my tired jet-lag brain in this moment? He who loves father and mother and sister and brother and houses and lands more than me. I think it says there in one of the Gospels, is not worthy of me. But he who is willing to leave fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers, it doesn't say wives, by the way, there, just for some of you guys who are, thinking that you got to go to the end of the earth because the Lord told you to do so and your wife doesn't want you. I'm sorry. Right there. You can't do that. So, but houses and lands, and a lot of times, why don't we go? We don't have a going mentality. That's the person that's you as an individual. But then there's the sending mentality of the church leaders, and this church has a sending mentality, and it's growing, and I love it, and I'm so thankful for it. I mean, you guys could easily be our home church. You really could. And you are, in a real way. But we need the going mentality. That's personal. Because I can want to be a sender, but if you don't want to go, not happening. And you can want to go, but not want to be sent. And that's not good. And that probably is not going to happen. So you need to be sendable. This is what we're teaching our people. Whoa, Brad, what in the world does that mean? I mean, you got to be able to get along with people. You want to go start a church, but you can't get along with the team you're working with? Forget it. You're in for a big disappointment down the road. So unity is a big thing, but sendable. But he who's left fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, houses, lands, for my sake and the gospel shall inherit. In the next life? No. In this life, 100-fold, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, houses, and lands. So, I mean, like Kevin said, when he came, the lights went on about what's happening, because we don't just have a ministry, it's more of a movement that's international. And this gets into one of the secrets of what I would talk about. I'm going to get to it as fast as I can. Next. How does that movement start? Next. Okay, good. I'm through my PowerPoint. I'm through my mechanical phase. So, secret of ministry. Wow. You know, how do you capture this? Where am I time-wise? I feel so free today. And that's another thing. I don't even have clocks in our churches, by the way. I'm so happy. But where am I? I couldn't. What's that? I have 12 minutes left. That's a countdown. Does it bottom out at like 4 zeros there? Or does it show me how far over it I went? It does? It does. That's really good. You know, how many of you teach or do public speaking? You probably wonder what in the world. I brought all these notes up here and I even looked at them. What's that guy doing? But this is the one I can't disregard. Yeah, I'm a success if I share the holy moment. I did that, right? And I do these other things. Smile. Secrets of good speaking. Smile. Especially if you're jet lagged and tired, you got to smile. Distracts from your eyes. Okay, stay on time. Look at that. I'm using 30 seconds to say that I'm going to be on time. Don't embarrass anybody. So for those of you who thought I might embarrass you, nope. It's a done deal. I'm not going to do it. Don't say anything dumb. I wrote that. It's on here. And then smile one more time. Because I've been told so many times that I wasn't smiling in the front. Especially if I'm on TV. I got to be careful with that. So, secret of success. I want you to understand. So I will stick to the clock. By the way, Nora and I will be out in the lobby, and she's looking forward to answering all of your questions. That's just, what's it like to live with that guy and try? No. No, we want to be out in the lobby, and we're going to be there right out here. And if you have any questions or anything, we want to get out there as fast as possible. But we have to stay on time. We know that, and especially for the children's workers. But secret of ministry is coming to the place. It's about being and doing. Now, you have the 3 attributes of God. 3 attributes of God. The Lord is omniscient. He is omnipresent. So omniscient, he knows all things. Omnipresent, he is everywhere at the same time, and he's omnipotent. Now, I've learned as a Christian, Christians, including myself, are more preoccupied, but in the flesh, with like the omniscient. We feel like we got to know all things, like what Brad's going to speak about today, and where are the notes, and where's the PowerPoint. This is anal thing. We just got to know. Telling you, this will block you from following the Spirit of God. The preoccupation with doing, omnipotent, wanting the power, that will also block you from following the Lord. Okay, and omnipresence. In the flesh, it's that we're too busy. We think we have to be everywhere all at the same time. It's true. So we have to be focused. Now, the being is what's more important about being and who we are. It's relaxing and resting in the fact that the Lord is with us. He is with us. He's omnipresent. No matter what happens, he loves us. He accepts us. He wants to forgive us. He wants to take us as we are. He's there. He sees. He knows everything. I love that. Relax. It's more important of who you are and being who you are and being the person that the Lord created you to be than what you do. I always say, is Jay Savignac here? You know, this is my thing. Where is he? Put that hand up. I see that hand out there. Okay. You know, he knows, and I say it, this is my spiel, that the Lord will always do things to us first, so he can do something that he wants in us. And then whatever he does in us will be much more effective as he does something through us. But we get preoccupied with the doing. What's the secret of doing things? What's the secret of the church plants? It's letting the Lord work, yielding to him, understanding him, and just relaxing and trusting in him. This sounds so simple, but this is the secret to ministry. This is the secret. It's yielding, calling out and asking the Lord and just yielding to him. Lord, would you just help me out and take my life and do what you want? Whether it's worship leading, preaching. The last couple of years, I have learned, this is tough for me because I'm the kind of guy who's got you can't believe all the messages that I have written out or, on computer and all that. And I'll do this and I'll prepare it. And then I'll just know that the Lord doesn't want me to use it. It's like, Brad, don't even think to use that thing. I don't like that. Okay, Lord, what do you want me to do? I'll show you in the moment. Oh, I hate that. But if he doesn't bring us to that point, how in the world are we ever going to learn to follow his leading anyhow? So with everything and in anything, we have to come to that place and more and more and more. It's not a one-time decision. It's a daily thing where we just come back to, Lord, would you just do this, please? Even with worship leading, as a worship leader, I actually began to learn this. It was during worship leading. I remember one service where I sang one song for 35 minutes. I felt led to do it. And I was so lost as a worship leader. I'm looking at the worship leader here. That I was so lost and so not connected to what everything was happening around me that there was another guitar player. And he was he started out here, but because somehow I got myself turned around, I actually backed him into the corner, okay? And I was in the corner, and he was with his guitar in the corner like this. And so when I opened my eyes from my lostness, I saw this guy what are you doing? You're leading. No, I was following. I was worshiping. I had entered into real worship. Nothing else mattered. Okay? And you can't do that. You can't get to that point without following. So, and that applies to everything. One of the secrets with ministry is also learning to put your faith in the Spirit of God and the power of the Spirit of God. And I've got a whole thing of, I thought I was going to get to it. I think in the next, how many of you here are in the next meeting? Because you already know that I didn't know what I was going to say. And so that applies to the next meeting too. So maybe we'll get into I have a list of 25 miracles that include and healings and incredible things. Miracles, something only that the Lord can do, that I actually plan to share a few of those things with you. Maybe I'll just finish with that. Trusting in the Spirit of God. The Lord is there. The Lord wants to reveal himself. And what I'm saying to you is the secret of everything that we're doing in Romania, and what I'm learning, what we're learning, and what we're imparting, especially with the younger people. And so I've been teaching them a lot about, recently, about praying for the sick, praying for, trusting the Lord to do things, that unusual miracles, like it says in the book of Acts. I mean, unusual, just, it was never seen or done before. Unusual. How much room are you leaving for the Lord to do unusual things in your life? As Americans, it's got to fit right here, you see? But the Lord maybe, he can do that, but he wants to lead us in a different way. Unusual things that apply in our everyday life. The Lord healed my the transmission on my Volkswagen van a couple years ago. Now, I never would have believed that. Unusual. But the Lord revealed himself to me. And it was a broken transmission. We didn't have first gear. We were going to Germany. And we went all the way to Germany without a first gear. It was welded shut. Okay? The mechanic said, the only way this is going to work, I can get it out of gear. I pull it out of gear, but now it's broken. You're going to have to drive to Germany in the second gear. So I drive all the way there, come back. Nora's my witness here. And come all the way back, and somebody dared to say to me, did you think to pray for it, that the Lord would heal your transmission? And I'm like, what? Okay. Lord, if you can do this before I get the new transmission, please help us. So the next day, I'm driving, I pulled up to a stop sign, and all of a sudden it went into first gear, and I thought, what in the world is that? And I pulled it down in a second, I put it into first, and we had first gear. Now that applies to your life. These signs shall follow those that believe. These signs shall follow them that believe. The signs, it's not limited in Mark 16 to having victory over the devil, having victory over the flesh, having victory over the body with healings and things like this. It's signs. There's certain things that are significant of the presence of God. These signs shall follow them believe. And the believers went out, and it says that they preached the word everywhere. And that means that to every person, they went out. That's a missions mentality. Who is that? The 11? No, it was the 120. That verse, Mark 16:20, it's like extracted out of Acts chapter 2. They went out and they preached everywhere to everybody, the Lord working with them. And if the Lord is working with us, what would our life and our ministry look like? We need to invite him in and let him work. Let him do those unusual things. And he's so much more interested in us experiencing his presence and experiencing his power and the unique, unusual things that would only come because he's there with us. Secret, he's with us. Secret, he wants to do these things. But do we want him to do those things? Praying for people. I'm going to finish with this. So I got 30 seconds. Can I have a deficit of 2 minutes? I'm going to give you the accordion short version. But see, a lot of times, but you have to hear this, is that when we pray for people, pray for the sick, and I have seen many things. I prayed for people who had cancer. They were healed. But what you need to know, the inside secret, was that any case, any story, any testimony that I had, I felt very insufficient. I felt very intimidated. I felt very up against something that was way bigger than me. Good position to be in, because that's the mindset that you need to have. And so one particular Sunday, I was invited. It was a Saturday. I had a high fever, 104 fever, and I was invited to go to a church. And I said, no, I can't come. He called me back. Come on, you got to come. And I said, no, there's no way I'm going to come. I've got the high fever. Doubt. I won't be better before tomorrow. And he said, please how about if you wake up tomorrow and you're better, would you come? Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to do this. If I'm supposed to come, I'm not going to set my alarm for 5 o'clock like I normally would. And if I wake up at 5 o'clock, I'll know that the Lord wants me to come even though I'm sick. 5 o'clock, there is this voice from out the window, and I'm just so totally sound asleep. Brad! I looked at Nora. Her voice doesn't sound like that. I stood up, I looked out the window. I was sure as I could be that somebody was out that window. And all of a sudden I remembered, oh yeah. And it was kind of like the Lord was saying to me, you said. And so I got up, and I knew I had to go. It was a really big fog. It was hard to get there. So I get there. I was just happy to be there. I had my translator speak. The pastor gets up and he says, we're going to have a prayer time. And this guy, Brad Hayes, he's going to pray for anybody. And if you come up, you're going to be healed. Oh, come on. You don't do that to somebody. And I was already sinking. I mean, going down. And all of a sudden I just realized, I need to do this. This is the Lord. He wants me to do this. And this lady comes up in a wheelchair. She was paralyzed. And I knew that the Lord wanted her to be helped and touched. I really believed that. It grew inside of me. And at the end of the service, I cleared out the room. I'm thinking about Peter and what he did, I cleared the room out of all the doubters. I almost had to leave myself. And I prayed, and as I prayed for her and I touched her feet and I said to my translator, tell her, do you believe that you can be healed? And she said, yes. She had more faith than me. And I said, stand up and walk. And my translator said, well, he was quiet, and he says, well, he says that you should stand up and walk. And I said, no, I didn't say that. I said, Jesus, in the name of Jesus Christ, stand up and walk. And I reached out, I took her hand, and I said, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. She was limp. And all of a sudden, the power began to come. And I lifted her up. I said, let's stand. And I walked her up to the front of the church. We were in the back of the church, and I walked her back, and she pushed her wheelchair out of the church. Now, what do I learn from that? The Lord's with us. He can do all things. But without faith, it's impossible to please the Lord. We must believe that He's God, and He's a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. Make place for Him in our life. I'm 3 minutes and a half deficit. I need to stop. So thank you, everybody. And come back to the second service, and we'll see you outside.
When we went to Romania,